Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's PDH Deck Tech. I'm Joseph, and this week we are in Sultai, giving us the colors green, black, and blue. Our commander today is the rather unusual Anna Battlemage. Anna Battlemage is a 2/2 human wizard for 2 and a green that has Kicker, pay 2 and a blue, and or 1 and a black. When Anna Battlemage comes into play, if the 2 blue Kicker cost was paid, target player discards 3 cards. And when Anna Battlemage comes into play, if the 1 and a black Kicker cost was paid, tap target untapped creature, and that creature deals damage equal to its power to its controller. Now, Anna Battlemage has 2 unusual abilities, each with distinct themes. We could try and build a discard-based deck, but honestly, that second ability is so much more interesting to me, using our opponent's creatures to punish their controllers. So, for this deck, I've chosen to take us down a very dangerous route. We are going to rely on our opponents having powerful creatures in order to win this game. So we are going to thread the needle between having our own army, strengthening our opponents, and then waiting until the time is right to destroy them in our trap. Here, we have to worry about fixing our 3 colors. To take care of that, we're going to have Urborg Elf as our Sultai mana dork. But we also have kicker effects on not only our commander, but many cards in our deck. For those who are familiar, that means we need mana, and we need a lot of it. We're therefore going to use Everflowing Chalice, which will come in with charge counters. But we can also make use of 2 more creatures, Apprentice Wizard to give us lots of colorless mana, or Stronybrook Banneret to reduce the cost of our merfolk and our wizards, including our commander. Now, before we can begin with any shenanigans, we first have to make sure that our own creatures are in place for security. Here, we're going to use plenty of creatures that also have the kicker effect. Crag Vampires and Enclave Elite can both come in with +1 counters and have Swamp Walk or Island Walk. Gnarled Colony can come in with +1 counters and gives all of our creatures with +1 counters trample. Meanwhile, Duskwalker can come in with +1 counters and the Fear effect, but for more utility, a kicked Krosan Druid will gain us 10 life, while Urborg Skeleton has Regenerate and can act as a perfect blocker. For removal, Heartstabber Mosquito can kill any creature, while Mold Shambler will remove any non-creature permanent. Now, many of these kicked creatures will come in with +1 counters. We're going to take advantage of them further with Deepwood Denizen, allowing us to draw cards, and Hagra Constrictor, which will give our creatures with counters Menace. We're then going to take these counters out of control using Proliferate effects. We have repeated Proliferate effects on creatures such as Thrumming-Bird and Urban Daggertooth, but we also have Proliferate stapled onto single spells, like the counterspell Fuel for the Cause, or removal with Spread the Sickness. All of this has been fairly standard strategy so far. Creatures and +1 counters, you've already heard it a dozen times. But this has all been our fallback, making sure we don't get overrun while putting our main plan into motion. Here's where our risky strategy begins. And here's the roadmap for how we'll steal a win. First off, we're going to include some of our favorite +1 counter enchantments: Eternal Thirst, Sadistic Glee, Forced Adaptation, and Predatory Hunger. But here, we're not aiming to put them on our own creatures, no. Instead, we'll be putting them on our opponent's creatures, force-feeding them +1 counters to make them as powerful as possible. We're then going to push these creatures to attack our opponents with the Impetus cards: Parasitic, Psychic, and Predatory Impetus. Alternatively, we can goad different creatures with Norrit, and we can even give these goaded creatures some help with Passwall Adept, helping our opponents kill each other. But if we can't control these creatures, we'll just cage them instead. Now here I need to bring up one important detail. The second ability on our commander can only target an untapped creature. That makes things a little difficult for us. Blue has a million ways to keep a creature tapped, but to keep a creature restrained but untapped? For that, we need to find some unusual stuff. We can use Zephyrnet and Ice Cage to paralyze a creature, but Ice Cage can be easily broken. Our best options will be Demonic Torment and Gaseous Form. In addition, we do have some conditionally immobilizing cards, such as Volrath's Curse and Lost in Thought. But if those players can sacrifice a permanent or exile 3 cards from their graveyard, we'll be in trouble. In that case, we'll be prepared, with several Fog effects, but also our 2 indestructible barriers, Wall of Shadows and Wall of Vapor. Now that our trap is set, it's time to fully spring it. We cast our commander, we use the kicker cost, we deal 10 damage to our opponent, but our opponent manages to squeak out some life gain so they live. Now what? And what about the rest of our opponents? We need to trigger our commander's effect multiple times over the course of the game. But here's another sticky detail. This is a kicker ability, not enter the battlefield. We need to get our creature back to hand to recast it. Luckily, we are in blue. We can just bounce our commander with Call to Heal or Arctic Merfolk. However, it's better if we can use Runaway Together or Peel from Reality, so we can bounce our commander and also an opponent's creature that's been giving us trouble. For a reliable bounce, though, we have a Wizard Mentor and the appropriately named Waterfront Bouncer, which will allow us to pick up our commander and play it again and again, and get to relish that third-grade joy of saying, "Stop hitting yourself." And that's my Anna Battlemage deck. This commander has a unique ability that requires a lot of hoops to take advantage of it. But it creates such a unique deck, I can't help but enjoy it. This deck is all about biding its time and creating the perfect moment to strike. This deck is going to cost us about $17. The deck list is in the description. Please like and subscribe and come back next week when we talk about our favorite furry friends in Temur.